I've been working up the courage to finally share a experience that I had. So like a few weeks ago, I did a QHHT session. So QHHT is a past life regression, and I've been hearing a lot about it, and I just wanted to, have the experience and get to know a little bit more about my story. And I went in with the intention of finding out more about my purpose, how I got here, and things like that. So I think my questions have been answered. So it's really interesting how I got here and what led me here. And the life that I had before here was very unexpected. Most people who have these sessions will experience a human past life, an earth past life. I did not have an earth past life because this is my first earth life. So I got to see where I was before this and how I got here, and just to answer, get some clues to why do I feel so different and out of place. So started off, I'm in another world. I don't quite know exactly where this world is. I know it's somewhere along the Orion line. It wasn't on Orion, but it was somewhere around in that area. It was a small unknown place. Wasn't highly populated, at least not the area where I was at. So I don't even know the name of my form. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I figure maybe headphones will help turn down the background noise of children, TV, and toys. God, it's so dry out right now. So this experience was interesting. So I don't know the name of the species that I am. I haven't really heard it before. I haven't really seen it before, other than this is a character that I've seen in a game that I play. Very similar appearances, very similar features to what you would call a night elf. I play a game called World of Warcraft, and it's one of the races there. And they're very tall, which I was very tall. They have like a purplish color skin, which is what I had. I had like a very purple skin, long ears. I had very long hair. It was a darker color hair. I couldn't really tell you what kind of clothes I was wearing, but I was considered an outcast there as well, because I didn't really look like any of the other beings in the area where I was living. I was an orphan. I was found in a tree, in a box in a tree. Nobody really knows where I came from. They just found me. So I grew up in like this orphanage in town, and the townspeople all looked very different. Some of them were feline type creatures, and others were not. They looked more humanoid. So I don't really know where exactly I was. All I know is that I was different. Everyone in town was very chatty. They all loved to get together. They were all very close. They all loved to party. It was just all about food and gatherings and just always being together. And I was more on the quiet side and just liked observing. But one day I was out in the forest and I was playing with a few other kids, and I found a baby dragon that was injured. I found it and I wanted to return it home. So I picked up this dragon and started looking for its mother, and I did. I found the mother, and she was frightened at first, thought I was going to hurt the baby, but I wasn't going to hurt it. I returned it to her. And this dragon immediately realized that she could talk to me, that I could understand her. And nobody else around was able to understand them when they spoke. So I had this ability to talk to these dragons. And they started watching over and observing me and realized that I was different from everybody else. Didn't really fit in. And they invited me to join them, to live with them, live amongst them. So I did. I left town. I grew up in the forest and I lived with the dragons. I had many of them. There were many dragons. And I would fly in the sky with them. I lived in the caves. I lived in the trees. I lived wherever we were, wherever we went. And I had an ability that was very unique and very different. That my eyesight, my vision was very powerful vision. I could see very long distances. Kind of like a hawk. I could zoom. I can actually zoom, and watch things from a distance. It's like wearing a pair of binoculars, but I didn't have a pair of binoculars. They were just my eyes. And so I would sit in the mountains, long distance from town, and I'd watch over the town. If there was any intruders or any dangers, we would, as dragons, our dragon clan, would go down and clear it out and let the people have peace. They just are always happy and joyful, and they didn't do anything harmful to any animals. They were very just loving to each other. There wasn't really a lot of advanced technology in terms of no weapons, nothing like that. They did have electricity, but it wasn't like the electricity that we have here. It was powered by nature. It was powered by celestial power, from the stars. So there was a lot of crystals. There was a lot of crystal power. So it was a very different type of experience than the people here. People here are very violent, very aggressive, and there it's just all peace and love and joy. So it was very strange to see life different someplace else. But I spent a lot of my time with dragons, and we cared for the environment. We cared for the animals, the nature. We watched for weather and invasions of other creatures. We did have an invasion of some sort that wasn't of this world that I was on. It was from a different world, excuse me. So I witnessed an invasion of something from another world, which was strange to see. We've never seen anything like this before. The dragons and I didn't really know what to do because we've never seen anything like this ever. Usually it's an invasion of like elemental type things from other parts of the world that we lived on. But this was a completely different invasion of something otherworldly, and was very frightening because we didn't have any type of technology that had any type of weapons. There was no need to have those things of mass destruction because the beings here just don't do that. So we had these giant metal ships. They were black. They had red lights on them. They were massive ships hovering over this little city. And they started beaming the city. And the people started scattering, running away. And I was not nearby. I was far away at the time. And we were all confused. The dragons and I were confused on what to do. So we didn't want to draw attention to these large ships, these large aircraft. They're just kind of floating over the city. We wanted to help, but we can't be much help if they see us and destroy us. So our mission was to go and save any life that had wandered into the forest and bring them to safety. So if they were able to get out of the city and into the forest, we were able to swoop them up and bring them someplace. So we saved a lot of animal creatures. We saved a lot of people. Once they were able to get out into the forest, we were there. And we rescued them, but we all went into hiding. We went into underground caves, or we went into the mountains. We went underwater or wherever we could to hide. And these ships just kind of hovered around looking for something, but we had no idea what they were looking for. And we didn't see any creatures or any beings come out of these ships. We weren't sure what was in them. But all of these people were afraid to go back to their cities and decided to live amongst the creatures and the animals into the forest where they originally had lived before. But they had made this cute like little city. But they went back into living with nature and blending back in. A lot of them were very feline looking people. So they looked like creatures that lived in the forest and they could blend in. So that's what they did. They went back to looking more like creatures, shapeshift, as you could say, and live back amongst nature until they felt they were safe enough to return to their little city life that they created. But during this time, when the people there were looking for shelter and trying to stay safe, the dragons all got together and brought me in amongst the circle and said, we have to go. We need to leave. We've been called to go elsewhere. We've been called on a mission and we need to leave. And next thing you know, they just started disappearing, just poof, poof, poof. And they told me, you can come with us. We need you. We could use your help on this mission. Come with us. Don't worry about the people here. They will be looked after, but our job is to be going elsewhere. We have a mission. So I said, okay, I want to come with you. And I pulled like a Yoda master thing and just ascended out of my body. I didn't die, my soul left my body and went into the light, where I went to accept the call for the mission. So I follow into the light. I go through, and here's like this, I want to call it like a foyer, right? So like let's say you walk into a building and there's just like this little room space. Everything is made out of light. It's bright. On the left is like a long table. There's two pillars, one here, there's a table, and then there's a pillar on the other side of the table. They look like stone pillars. Obviously they're not made of stone, but they have the appearance of stone, but it's made out of light. So everything is made out of light. And this table is there, and behind this table is a bunch of these glowing orbs that turn out to be beings. You know, they just look like orbs at first, but when you really focus in on the center of these orbs, you can see that there's a being in the center. Some of these, they're white orbs, glowing lights, but some have like another color in the center. Some of them were like a little bluish, some were like a little green, some had like this orangish yellow to it. One of them had like a pink. So they all had like their own like little personal color in the center. And they're all standing in a row, and they look like they had journals or papers or something. They're talking amongst themselves. And I'm just standing there like, I don't know where I am, and I don't know what's going on, and I don't think they know that I'm standing here. So I stood there for a while, and then someone approached me. They just kind of came out of nowhere. Someone approached me and started talking to me, telling me that they're happy to see me. They're glad that I accepted the call. And they have a mission for me. And they really love my ability. They think my ability will be helpful for the mission. I'm like, okay. What ability are you talking about? And they said, your sight, your visions. You have an ability to see great distances, as well as other aspects to your vision. So he took me over to a doorway and opened it. Well, right next to this doorway, though, there are some stairways. There's a stairway that leads into light. It just, there's these light steps that lead into light. They just kind of disappeared into light. I thought that was very interesting. But we didn't go up those stairs. We went to this doorway that was next to these stairs. And he opened it. And it looked like a library. Kind of like a library. But it was not like the county library or the town library. You walk in and there's these spiral staircases that lead up and lead down. And there's many of them. And there's many like poles in there, and there's these large bookshelves. And some of them are floating. Some of them are, standing on like walls, like against the walls, but some of them are floating. And you've got tables in the center, but it's like this room is like in a room filled with stars as well. So like you can see, or like you can see through the walls, and like on the other side of the walls is just stars everywhere. There's all kinds of galaxy colors, just like galaxy clouds. I don't know how to explain it. All over the place, and stars all over the place. And he told me this is our research center. This is where we keep records of everything. All things seen, all things heard, all things created, all things in time, space, all over the galaxy, all over the universe. This has all of our records. You've seen something that has been reported all over the galaxy that we've never seen before. And our mission is complicated. We feel there's a link between this ships that you've seen, this invasion that you've seen, and we've received a distress call from this star planet. So he takes me to the top of some stairwell, and it looks like an outpost, kind of like a lighthouse, where I can see the universe, I can see all the stars, I can see all the galaxies, and he points like this. This star planet made a distress call. I want you to look at it. So I was able to see this itty bitty, teeny tiny star far off in the distance. I was able to zoom in on it and look at it like a pair of binoculars. Just, I guess you could say it was very similar to the mythical god or Heimdall. Heimdall had that vision where he can see everything and feel everything. And I was able to do that. I was able to look at this star planet from a great distance and see what was going on at the time. At the time that I zoomed in on, it was World War II. There was a lot of battle, a lot of fighting, and there was a lot of murder of a particular group of people. And then there was the explosion, the bomb. And I've seen this. When that bomb went off, you could feel it. You can feel that from where I was standing. And he said, we got this distress call after this incident. There's a link between what is happening on this star planet and what these ships are. And we need your help to gather as much information as we can because we need to put an end to this. The star planet is afraid of destruction, and if she's destroyed, it will cause mass devastation throughout the universe because it's not in divine order, it's not in divine timing, and it is not of her will. It goes against the universal laws. What is happening here goes against the universal laws. So I am asked to research and find more information about these ships. What are they? Where they come from? Where have they been? So I do my research. And my vision, I'm able to travel through time, space, and see things when they've occurred. And I do a report. I come up with a report, a finding between the links, and I present this report to the council, to my boss. I would develop a plan of action to put an end to this, to save this star planet and to save the universe from destruction, because this is against universal law, what is happening. And then I'm given a mission to have my place here on Earth during the time that this plan is taking place, that this plan is put in action. I am to have foot on the ground during this time as a watcher, to watch, see, and report all activity that happens, as well as help bring people back to connection They are highly disconnected from all natural order, all natural law, all universal law. They're completely cut off and disconnected, and the goal is to reunite them back to being connected to the divine, and really bring their focus back into how to do that. Just kind of point out, you don't need to do the things that you're doing. You can go back to being more natural, and here's how to find your connection and to restore balance with the natural connection between humans and their planet, so that they can receive their own messages, their own intuition, and their own missions. They will discover those things on their own. It's an interesting purpose. It's not super fancy like some others. But I was reassured that I am doing what I'm supposed to do, and not to get caught up in the drama of life, the needing of attention. The feelings of rejection are natural because you are unnatural. You are not the same. And that's how it is for most starseeds, is they are not natural. They're not the same. So naturally, of course, you're going to be pointed out as different as an invader. And you're going to feel that way because, in a sense, we kind of are. Because it's unnatural. But those things are going to change with the ascension. So we need to get humans more comfortable with interacting with things that are beings that are not really that they're familiar with. And it's going to take some time, but we really are running out of time. Not really running out of time, but we are almost at the completion of this mission. And it's a very highly detailed mission that's very, very, very complicated. So there are a lot of beings here that have their own very specific mission and their own very specific purpose. And it's really important to not be so judgmental on why they're here, and not to be so overly critical, because when you do that, you're slowing down the process. You're getting distracted, and you're actually taking the side of darkness over the side of light when you do that. So I get very irritated when I see people claiming to be the side of the light, and they're sitting here talking shit and making fun of other people in the spiritual community for doing their mission and being who they're supposed to be and doing what they're supposed to be doing, while you're just sitting there being judgmental. You're not doing anything. You're not doing your part. And you should be ashamed of that, because you've gotten sucked back into distraction, the darkness, and forgot what your purpose is, even if it was just for a split second. So the ego needs to be kept in check. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I fuck up all the time, but pay attention to what you're doing and what you're saying, because it has huge effects on the whole plan. So don't try to be overly involved in what other people are doing, what other starseeds are doing. You should be more involved and interested in what you're supposed to be doing and how you can make a difference. Don't worry about the other people. Just let it be. So that was my experience. And I feel a lot better knowing that I am different. I'm not going to always be liked by others. I don't have to be something that they want me to be. I am made the way that I am made for a reason, and I have to love every aspect of it. I might come off as cold and distant, but there's a reason for that, and that's none of your business. I'm not careless. I'm very deep and compassionate, but I don't really show it on the surface. It's something that comes out over time, and only those that my soul really, truly resonates with will get to receive the most gentle form of myself, whereas everyone else is just going to get the raw surface. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean that I'm dark and distant and cold, and I don't have empathy and I don't have sympathy, but I do have a completely different outlook of understanding of things. I don't have to explain that to anyone. I don't. And I'm happy with that. So it was a really good experience, and it opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I would like to encourage others to maybe take a look at their missions as well from a different perspective. Maybe see what a past life is and try to get an idea of what helps shape you to your purpose here. Because it's really it brings peace inside. That's all how I can describe it, is that I'm more at peace. And when things happen that are sad, or I'm more at peace with it. I don't get as upset because I have a more broad understanding. So, and this session has really gave me some recommendations. So the girl who did it gave me a recommendation on some books to read. So I am reading a book right now, and it takes me forever to read because I can only read a couple pages and then I gotta get up and go do something. But I'm currently reading Between Death and Life by Dolores Cannon. It's a really interesting book. So far, being able to see these conversations that she has with other people under this hypnosis, and the lessons that they're learning, or why they're here, and what this place really is, what Earth really is. It's really fascinating read. So, and why it is so important that we save this place is because of what this place is and its significance to the universe. It's really a good read, and very insightful. So if you haven't read it, you should start reading it, because it's really cool to see and hear words from souls that have been here many times before, and their messages that they share. And it's really cool to see that where I went is a place that other people have other places. It's the same place other people have gone to, and they described it almost the same. I mean, we all have our own unique vision of it, but very similar. So it's really cool. It's a really cool book. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Maybe somebody who's watching this might know what kind of creature or kind of being I was. I have no idea. Maybe somebody has some insight into what my soul is on the other side. What kind of council am I on? I don't know. I didn't get a lot of details. I didn't ask too many. But I just thought it was really interesting, the ability that I have on the other side. And yeah, so cool. It was a really cool experience. So if you guys are interested in wanting to do a session, I'll put the girls' info in the description below. I just got to get her page. Once I grab that, I'll stick that in the description below. She's really sweet. I really enjoy her. She is still new to it, so the session was about 3 hours long. But she did a really good job in keeping me on point with the hypnosis, with the right questions. So I'll put her info in the description. So thank you for listening to my story, and maybe some of you will have your own experience and get some answers. So it was really great. All right, bye.